Hi, or welcome back, or welcome if you're new. It's Sunshine Lorena, and I'm coming at you with my March TBR. How is February over already? So guys, yes, it's that time of the month again. It is time to bring you my TBR. So if you haven't been here before, I use a TBR jar. I have prompts. I will pick 5 and pick books according to those 5 prompts. I do have a few books that I'll go through first of all, just to let you know, already pre-planned ones, and we need to hope that the jar is nice. This month I am not going to be taking part in any readathons. There are some amazing ones out there this month. I have seen some videos, but I just feel like I need a month where I don't have a readathon, because I took part in Winter Ween in January, and then in February I've been taking part in Olympics-a-thon and Sims readathon, and I really enjoy a good readathon. I really enjoy them, but I think for March I just feel like I need a little bit of a break, you know. I need less pressure. It's not that I'm going to read less books, but it gives me a chance potentially to mood read a little bit, because I felt like it's been a while since I've like just mood read. I'm still going to have my TBR obviously, but you know, there's the option to mood read in there as well, and not having to stick to like TBRs for readathons. So yeah, let's just kind of get into it. The first one I'm going to speak to you about today is the third and final book, the Poppy War read along. I'm co-hosting with Charlotte, Jane and Megan, and that is The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. I can't believe like we've gotten to the final book already. Like honestly, time has just been flying. I have been absolutely loving this series, guys, absolutely loving it, and you know, I can't wait to see how it ends, but at the same time I'm gonna be sad that it's gonna be over, you know. I always get, when I really enjoy a series, I always get that feeling, but hopefully this is just as good as the first two. And yeah, so I'm not going to tell you about the premise of this. I haven't even read the back of this one because I like going in not knowing what I'm expecting to happen, you know. So in the Poppy War, our main character is Rin, and she is set in the country of Nicara, which is loosely based on China, and she is from the south of the country. She's dark skinned. She is from like a poorer background. She was a war orphan, and yeah, people aren't expecting very much of her. She decides to do the Keju exam, which is held every year when she reaches that age, and she surpasses everyone's expectations, does absolutely amazing. Not only does she pass, she gets into the best school in the country, the military school, which she was aiming for, because she would get a free education and she would escape that life that she had already set out on the path in front of her. Yep, she gets to the school and she soon realises that the system is not set up for people like her. It's very much set up for the elite to succeed and do really well. And she has a hard time adjusting, and she does end up getting lessons from the master that everyone thinks is crazy, and what he does and no one believes, and what he teaches, which is Shamanism. And yeah, I'm not going to say much more than that, but the third Poppy War is just a spark away, guys. That's the general premise. I absolutely love it. I feel like I've been speaking about this for ages now, but just, yeah, I cannot wait to get to this. So I'm super, super excited. And then we'll have our last final show. But for the Dragon Republic, our live show is going to be on the 6th of March. So come and check it out if you've read it and want to see our thoughts. And yes, that is the only one. I'm not taking part in any book clubs or anything this month. Like I said, I am doing a very chill reading month because I feel like I need that. I do, however, have some arcs that I need to read. So I've got a few that I was approved on NetGalley, and I need to do a bit of catch-ups. I need to try and read them. So the first one is Love Lockdown by Beth Rickles. So this came out on like the 1st of February, 1st or 2nd February, but I got actually approved on the day it came out. So I'd already had my February TBR all set out and haven't had the chance in February to read it. So this is kind of top priority of ARCs, because it is already out and I want to, you know, I want to read it. So this is like a romance, contemporary, it is, as you might have guessed, it has the word lockdown in it, so it is kind of around the pandemic. However, it does appear to be taking a much lighter kind of side to it. So in this building of flats, the management company, I believe, or someone puts notes under everyone's doors. And they're saying, due to the situation, everyone's going to have to quarantine for 1 week. Which leaves people in various different situations. There are several couples. So there's like a couple who had like a one-night stand that are stuck together for 7 days, which they weren't expecting. There's other couples have had like some issues. There was also, I believe, like there's a hen party situation as well. Like there's all these different dynamics of relationships, and like, can they survive this week of intense togetherness, basically. So it sounds super fun and super interesting, and it sounds like a really good, nice, light read. So I should hopefully get to that one. I will. No, not hopefully, I will get to it, guys. The other one is I won an ARC. I couldn't believe it. I won an ARC, and that is The Influencers by S.V. Leonard. And this is coming out in March, and it's the 10th of March. Yes. I read The Islanders by her last March. That was her first book. This is the second one, and this is like a mystery, murder mystery, a little bit of thriller vibes, but more of the mystery murder side. And yes, okay, so in this one, when budding true crime blogger Maggie Shaw is invited to do the Influencer of the Year awards, it feels like everything's finally falling into place. The party is held on a glamorous yacht and presents the perfect opportunity for Maggie to network, the first step towards achieving her dream of turning her hobby into a full-time job. But by the end of the night, there's one question on everybody's lips. Who killed Stella Knight? Stella was beautiful and famous, her life appeared to be perfect, but behind the facade, Stella had made a number of enemies, and all of them were on board. A page-turning crime thriller. And yes, it sounds great, amazing. I can't wait to get to this one. Super excited because, like I said, I really enjoyed The Islanders, which was like kind of based on And They Were None by Agatha Christie. Again, this sounds like a very much closed setting, which I absolutely love and enjoy, and I cannot wait to get to it. Then the next ARC that I have on my NetGalley shelf that is due out in March is 9 Lives by Peter Swanson. Can't believe I got approved for this. And it's coming out on the 3rd of March. It's early in the month as well. And let's see if I can get to it. But in this one, if you're on the list, you're marked for death. The envelope is unremarkable. There's no return address. It contains a single folded sheet of white paper. The envelope drops through the mail slot like any other piece of post, but for the 9 complete strangers who receive it, each of them recognising just one name, their own, on the enclosed list. It will be the most life-altering letter they'll ever receive. It could also be the last one, as one by one they start to meet their end. So yes, it's a mystery thriller, which I do really enjoy, and I cannot wait to get to it. And then the last ARC, guys, that I have on NetGalley shelf, which is one of my most anticipated books of 2022, and that is Four Aunties and a Wedding, and it's by Jessie Sutano. I read Dial A for Aunties the end of summer last year and absolutely loved it. It was hilarious, it was funny, and I have been waiting for the second book. I'm so excited, guys, and I couldn't believe I got approved for it. So this will be coming out on the 29th of March, so I do, I'm gonna make this priority, okay, guys, because like I need to read it. I absolutely love the first one. It kind of bends across a few different genres. It's like humor, there's a bit of like, in the last one there was mystery thriller, kind of murder mystery thriller kind of esque vibes, romance, a little bit of everything, humor, I think I maybe said already, but it crosses various different genres, but it is amazing. So in this one, they vowed to make it a day to remember. After getting away with literal murder, Maddie can't wait to settle down and marry the love of her life, Nathan. She's found the dress, got the dream venue at Christ Church College, Oxford, plus having a destination wedding comes with the added bonus of not having to invite her very large extended family. But is it even a wedding if nobody gets killed? Although when her meddling aunties get involved, Maddie knows her wedding's going to be anything but quiet. Even though there's no dead body hidden in the freezer this time, for better or for worse, it's certainly going to be a day she's never going to forget. Amazing, incredible, I cannot wait to read this one this month. And yes, that is kind of the ones that I do really want to, well, The Burning God I have to get to. The other ones are, I would really like to read them. And yeah, let's just get into the jar and see what fate has picked for me this month. Pick number 1.
thriller.
Okay, so for thriller, I have went with, drumroll please, The Nine Lives by Peter Swanson. Because it's an arc, I have to get to it anyway, and it makes sense to choose, you know, something that I'm gonna kind of have to read anyway. I'm looking forward to it, so I'm so glad that thriller came out of the jar this month. Super, super happy.
Pick number 2. Fantasy book, yay!
So for fantasy book, guys, have you guessed it? I have chosen The Burning God. Again, I can't believe a fantasy book came out of it this month. Again, I'm having to read this anyway, so that's why I've chose it. I do have some other fantasy books on my shelf, so maybe if I have time and I'm in the mood for fantasy later on in the month, I could pick up one of those ones. But yes, this is a bit of a chunker anyway. It is 622 pages, and like with the audiobooks of these ones are around like 18 to 21 hours, so you know, it is a chunker. It's going to take a while, so that's why I've chosen it for this fantasy prompt.
Pick number 3. Translated.
And for translated, guys, I have actually quite a few on my shelves, my physical shelves and my Kindle, but I have decided to go with Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Tales from the Cafe. This is the second in the series. I have the first one up here. I read it back in August 20, and I bought this one July last year, so it's been on my shelf for a while. I've been wanting to get it for ages. I really enjoyed the first one, and yes, it's translated from Japanese into English, and they're short books. The other one was about 200 pages, and this one is 192 pages, so it's great, a short one. Like I can literally read it in a day if I want to, but you know, we want, like I said, you know, we want a lighter reading month. We want more flexibility. So in this one, there is a cafe, and there are rumours going around that you can time travel if you go to this cafe, which intrigues people because, you know, people have various different reasons why they would want to go to the past. There are some catches. You have to sit in a specific seat. You have to, when you time travel into the past, then you have to get back before your coffee gets cold, hence the title. You can only time travel within the cafe, so if you're going back to see a specific person, they have had to have been in the cafe previously for you to go back and speak to them. And that's all the rules that I remember. So in the first one you had like 4 separate stories. It was super interesting seeing the different reasons why people wanted to travel through time. The different reasons. I assume again this one maybe it's 4 different stories. The staff are always the same, it's just the actual customers who come for that reason to time travel is the ones that change, and it was really nice to see those different reasons, and I really enjoyed it, so I highly recommend. I can't wait to get to the second one. I believe there's a third one, but I don't think it's been translated to English yet, but I'm sure that there's a third one.
Pick number 4. Under 300 pages.
So under 300 pages, we love when we get a short book, guys. We love when we get a short book. I have decided to go with Go Tell on the Mountain by James Baldwin. This is one of the 10 classics that I want to read in 2022, and I didn't read any in January, so I only really have 1 month left where I don't have to read any. So you know, I'm so glad that I was able to get one of these classics on there. This is like 256 pages. I'm going to be borrowing it from the library. This is his very first book. I've never read anything by him, so reading the first one kind of makes sense. It's a great place to start, and I've heard really great things about his works. In Go Tell It on a Mountain, drawing on James Baldwin's own boyhood in a religious community in the 1930s Harlem, his first novel tells the story of a young Johnny Grimes. Johnny is destined to become a preacher like his father, Gabriel, at the Temple of the Fire Baptized, where the church swells with song, and it is as if the Holy Ghost were riding in the air. But he feels only scalding hatred for Gabriel, whose fear and phantasm lead him to abuse his family. Johnny vows that for him, things will be different. This blazing tale is full of passion and guilt, of secret sinners and prayers, singing on the wind. And that's the premise. It sounds like it's going to be really interesting, intriguing, and like I said, I've not read any of James Baldwin's books, so I really do want to pick it up and see what his writing style is like and if I do enjoy it.
And fifth and final pick. Rory Gilmore list book.
And for Rory Gilmore book list, I have this one in the jar because I have the goal this year to read 10 from this list. Last year was 20, did not succeed. So super happy that this actually came out of the jar because I have not read any books from the Rory Gilmore list, you know. And I said I was going to read 10. It's going to be like last year, guys. I've got a feeling that I'm going to be scrambling the last few months trying to read them and probably failing. But we're going to try. We need to try and succeed. And I have chosen from my shelves The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. And I got this at the charity shop last year, and I know it's been made in the film. I've never seen the film itself, but in this one, I believe that it is sad. I think it's sad. But my name was Salmon, like the fish. First name Susie. I was 14 when I was murdered on December 6, 1973. My murderer was a man from our neighbourhood. My mother liked his border flowers and my father talked to him once about fertiliser. This is Susie Salmon speaking from heaven, which looks a lot like her school playground, with the good kind of swing sets, counselors to help newcomers adjust and friends to room with. Everything Susie wants appears as soon as she thinks of it, except the one thing she wants most, to be back with the people she loved on earth. Watching from her place in heaven, Susie sees their happy suburban family devastated by her death, isolated even from one another as they try to cope with their terrible loss alone. Over the years, her friends and siblings grow up, fall in love, do all the things she never had the chance to do herself. But life is not quite finished with Susie yet. And that's it. So I don't know too much about this one apart from that premise. I know it's a film, never watched it, so I'm going to go in pretty much blind, not knowing actually what happens. Like I said, I do believe it's sad. I mean, it does involve death of like, she was what, 14? Yeah, of like a young girl. So yes, I'm looking forward to picking this up and seeing what it's like and getting my first Rory Gilmore book list, ticked off, because you know we need to do that, guys. We need to at least attempt, you know, we need to attempt to actually, you know, achieve our goals. That, you know, we need to try and attempt it. And that was the last pick from the jar. And yes, the jar has been quite kind to me again this month. It's been so good so far this year. I've got a feeling that it's not gonna keep on doing that, but I am looking forward to reading these books that I've picked. And yes, hopefully I'll get to those arcs as well that I said I want to. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what you thought of them. If you have any other like kind of book recommendations for me as well, leave a comment down below. I love chatting to you guys in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I will hopefully see you in the next one, guys. Bye!